that just the stupidest sight gag you could do, like in this type of context? Like you literally, like you're starting up your stream, you pressed all the buttons, and then you do your thing, and then when the transition's over, it's like, ah, you know, you're like surprised that you're online. It's like just dumb. Don't like, it's just dumb. Don't ever do what I just did. It's just really dumb. It's just Dumbo stuff. How's everybody doing? Carlos, nice to see you, Carlos. It's Thursday. I'm gonna tell you what a fucking week this was. Again, not as much of a fucking week as last week was. Last week was very much a fucking week. But I'm gonna tell you, it's always the same thing in my industry. I'm not telling you what I do, where I work for, who I work for, in what world I work in, within. I am it's always the same thing at this time of year, right? Where it's like not people, but like everything just gets really crazy until Christmas. It just it goes balls to the wall, and then Christmas arrives, and then everything gets quiet. And then when we go back in January, it's going to be quiet for a couple of months. Then it's going to pick up for like March for like the spring. And then summertime is dead. So I really can't complain because the summers are so dead at work that even with vacation time, it's like work is really not overwhelming. So if there's like a couple of months in the year where it's like crazy, just push, and then it gets really like tepid, well, that's not so bad, you know. If it was like this all year long, there was a time I probably could manage it. There was a time I just all I do was work. I think everyone sort of, okay, I don't want to say everyone, don't want to make some grand generalizations, but I think a lot of people go through that phase. It's just like, you're young, you want to get experience in, or you really love what you do, you're networking at the same time, like whatever, especially in the field I used to be in, which I don't mind talking about. I used to be, a lot of you already know about this. I used to be a producer. I used to make videos, like for a living, not just like this slop here. It's like actually like, with people, I'd hire people. There'd be hired staff and such. And that's necessarily like a kind of a bonkers game. And you can be shooting at any time of day or night. And when you would shoot, well, it's long hours, it's long days, and you go through this for like, whatever length, 2 weeks, a week, whatever it takes, or sometimes a couple of days. And then you sleep for a day, and then you wake up, and then you once it's done, you do the wrap party, you sleep for a day, and then you're back on the grind. And those were great times, and I loved that. But I could not do that today anymore. I really couldn't. And, particularly with the little condition, especially with that, it's probably not advisable for me to, work 18-hour days on 4 hours sleep for, 10 days straight. It's probably not advisable. They probably wouldn't. They'd probably say, sir, we just operated on you. We just added, we added some things to keep you alive. You could do your part as well. Don't tell my doctor I ate fried chicken tonight. God, I ate so much fried chicken tonight. I got like a big family portion. There's a place in town. I'm going to pronounce it in French, and you can all suck it because you want to. La baraque à frites, right? Suck it. You don't understand what it is. But I'm still putting it over if there are any French Canadians who do stumble upon this from Quebec City. Best fried chicken in town, like unquestionably. Just remarkable stuff. And I get on, so I get, I got a family portion. I was really, really hungry. Like today I was really, really hungry because I was super busy. And I got like 12 pieces. And then they give you a big box with the 12 pieces. And then they give you an equally sized box, which is a big box. Like think about it, a big box to put in 12 big pieces of fried chicken, okay? And they give you another box with that. And the box is the same size, only it's filled with French fries and to the brim, okay? And then they give you some garlic bread with that. And then of course some barbecue sauce. And I'm like, am I eating it? And my son's eating it, and I gave some to my mother as well. You know, we've got a what do they call it? A multi-generational house? Is that what they call it? You know, anyway, this is a story for another time. Who cares? I feel like I've told it, but it doesn't matter now. So I give some to my mother as well. And there's 12 pieces. So I'm thinking there's 3 of us, 4 pieces each, right? Math. That's pretty good, right? Well, my mother's like, I'm not, she was actually drooling over the fried chicken. She says, give me 2 pieces. I'm like, 2? All right. Okay. And then my kid eats 2 pieces. I'm like, what? Are you all right? Said, yeah, I'm just not hungry tonight. I mean, I've got a ton of leftovers. Don't get me wrong. It rules, but I'm like, fuck, you know, I would have gotten like the big 12-piece meal. Anyway, the point is that I ate like 4 pieces of fried chicken, and that was a lot, plus the fries. But as long as I don't eat that every day, I'm fine. I'm super careful throughout the entire week. You know, I'm careful at how much salt I eat. I'm watching my blood pressure, so on and so forth. But yeah, you got to be careful. Can't go too ham on the fried chicken anymore. Anyway, welcome everyone. Nice to see you, Carlos. Sports and Things Show, Silver Apocalypse. Nice to see you, buddy. Welcome to the mod team. That guy's 64. Good to see you as well. Oh, Silver Apocalypse is also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Very, very important to point out. William Davis is also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Hope you're still streaming when these 50 high school kids leave my work. Oh, that sounds awful. Prayer hands up. Prayer hands up to our boy. Prayer hands up to our boy, William Davis. Hikaru, nice to see you. Also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show. Yes, it does suck to sick or whatever. Fred Moreland is here. Thank you for congratulating me on starting my stream. Oh God. Basit, hey, or how about just Basit? Is it Basit? Basit? Based it. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for enjoying the Windows, the old school Windows vibes. See, I'm an old man now. I need comfort. I need things that are familiar to me because they provide comfort and they don't make me scared. You know, all these newfangled OSs. You know, I need comfort. Soft T or Bassett. Oh, Bassett. Okay. Like Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett. Bassett. So it's not, okay. Bassett. And it's Bassett. That's the name. Bassett. Wait, Keller fumbles it every time I've been mailing him for a decade. Oh, God bless Wade, though. Doing the man's work. King of the North is here. He's also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Nikita Lyons cage match dumpster dive request. Oh, brother. How you doing, Kelly? Very nice to see you. King of the North used his membership message. 30 months as a member, brother. I mean, Nikita Lyons, Nikita Lyons kind of deserves her, deserves a dumpster dive, a Cage Ranch dumpster dive. Did we do it? I mean, it's even topical, I find. Or at least it's topical in my circles, right? It's topical on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show Discord, which you should join, by the way. Link is in the description. Hang on. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I know I shared it on the Discord today. It was me, right? Yes, it was me. Because I had been giggling at it for a while. I was going tee, like legitimately going tee. I thought it was really funny. It's really funny in how bad it is. You know, it's legitimately one of those. I got it all. I think I have it queued up here. Okay. All right, we're good to go. Why don't we do that then? Yeah. She deserves her flowers. I don't know what kind of flowers you want to send her. Apparently she has been back, and here's like that's the thing, is that I found this. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take credit for this. I did not find this video because it's on Twitter and I don't hang out there. But my but someone in my circles posted this video. I posted this tweet in one of the chats, and I stared at this. I played it in loop over and over again, and I was just giggling along. I just thought this was funny. So this is Nikita Lyons. You've all heard of her, and she's got a new move. I think this is a new move. I believe this is not part of her regular move set. I think she was debuting this move. I believe this is a new move from Nikita Lyons. Those of you who've seen it already know what's up, but if you haven't, here we go. You're in for a treat. Pay close attention. Now, did you miss it? Did you miss it? It's still funny. I must have watched it 10 times, and it's still funny. It's still funny. Let's look at this. So she's setting this. Who is this anyways? This Bryn Lee Reese. Who is this? I don't look. Anyway, it doesn't care. So she's setting her up, as you can tell here. I'm doing the play-by-play thing. Someone get me the pen and the tablet like they do like on the football with the guy doing the X's and O's and moving the plays. I want to do that. Remember when they had what's his face? The football kicker. Why can I not think of his name? You know that they had on WWE doing color commentary, right? And someone had someone had the great idea where he said, "Hey, we're gonna pause these wrestling moves and you're gonna do some breakdowns." Pat McAfee, thank you, Kelly. God bless you for being here. And and they start doing that, and like 1 out of every 6 times it hits, and most of the time it's just like super lame. So this is what we're gonna do here. So as you can tell, she's got whoever this is this Maddie Renkowski or whatever she's called now? Yeah, it's Technique by Taz. This is exactly what it is. But maybe we should be doing this with November Rain playing in the background. Okay, I'm sidebarring too much. So she's got her set up, and as you can tell, she's got the wrist control, arm wrapped around her, okay? This could only mean a ripcord, right? And you're looking at this and you're like, she's about to do she's about to do a ripcord. And what exactly will be her move? Will she be game enough to try and do a Rainmaker and then have the flood of internet haters fall on top of her? All right, so she's winding up, right? You see the arm? You thought it was this one. So did I. No. It's this one over here. And it's also super awkwardly positioned because she should have this arm here. If she's gonna spin, if she wants to spin the girl out, right? It has to be with the arm on the side you're gonna spin them out. Like this is all super awkward to begin with. And then she spins her out, whoomp, and she's just like throwing her. She's winding her up like a Beyblade. And then she just releases it. She just releases it. So one more time, here it goes. And she's just, it's the equivalent of you grab a child and you just toss the child over onto something soft, or in a video game, right? You don't do that like legitimately to someone, right? Obscurity Knox, nice to see you, pal. Welcome. So we got that. Now, what makes this move? Here's the thing. What makes this move absolutely fantastic? What does it do to put it truly over the top and make it a fantastic move, right? That's the question that we're asking. What is it? I got to tell you, this is what makes it a superstar move. It's at the end, when she's done, she does a little pose. She does a little superhero pose, right? Let's see that in slow motion or frame by frame. Right? She whomp, and then knocks the hair back. Just like she did something really fucking cool. Just as if she hit a burning hammer, right? Or a rainmaker. She's like, ah. When in fact, she just tossed a girl. She just tossed a girl in the middle of the ring. And God bless, we're assuming it's Brinley Reese, or at least I am, because I don't recognize her. And, this is super compressed Twitter video, so, we can't, maybe it's Maddie Rinkowski. Anyway, God bless whoever's selling this, doing the God's work here. But friends and family, Nikita Lyons stinks. Like, we just have, I know it's kind of like been a bit of a point of contention. I'm like, no shit, Warren. But she really does stink. She's really, yeah, it is the epitome of bro thought he did something. That's exactly what this is. She's bad. Like she's as bad, and she's cringe on top of it all, because then she walks around and she does her, those fast punches and, doing her bullshit with the nunchucks, which is not impressive. No one has been impressed with nunchuck swinging since the days of the mall ninjas in the 2000s. Like, no one cares. Like, it's cringe. It's just cringe. No one's impressed by nunchucks anymore. No one goes, ooh, wow. It's like, and again, I think the only people who are impressed by that are people who order, samurai sword replicas online. I think those are the only people who do get impressed by that. This looks like a tango dancing gag that was in at least 5 mediocre comedies in the 90s. Yeah, exactly. Where the gag is to throw the partner across the ring. Oh, is this Adriana Rizzo? This is Adriana Rizzo. Okay. Yeah, she's with the Tony D'Angelo group. Okay. See, I don't know. We're not getting into an NXT rant, but we're gonna look. Why don't we do the next logical thing and head on over to Cage Match? And take a look at Nikita Lyons here. I went directly into the matches, but Oh, we're off to a rousing start here. 4.80. Now, listen. Listen. A 4.80 as a pushed commodity in WWE, because she is pushed. They want to do something with this girl, right? Because they've shown her like in the audience at PLEs and stuff like that, right? Nikita Lyons is here. Like they want her to be something, right? And don't forget, the WWE universe is just completely gobbles up everything people do, right? Just gobbles up whatever the Fed says, right? They say, hey, this person's good. You got so, and they love it, right? And they love it, and they're on their hands and knees, and they're praising Triple H for creating such fantastic pro wrestling. And they just, this is a fan base that loves everything that they do. So if you, as a WWE wrestler in this current era, score a 4.80, something is incredibly wrong. Something is incredibly wrong. Without guessing, or probably you mean without checking, who has a higher rating on Cage Match, Lions or Evil Uno? I would probably say Lions. Say Cesar S. Nice to see you, Cesar. I don't think Anna J should be over 6, but you know what? We'll save an Anna J dumpster dive for another time. That's actually another pretty good candidate, if you ask me. Uno is higher. He's at 6. All right. There you go. But it could, Uno, Uno does have some very good, like SSB back in the day, terrific matches, right? Lions or Brandy Rhodes? I would say Brandy Rhodes has a lower cage match. I think people, I think people really don't like Brandy Rhodes. I think they like her less than Nikita Lyons. That would be my guess. Brandy is lower. That's what I thought. So let's get into this. 4.48, that's, we're in the same territory here. So her average ratings, as you can tell, 4.97.8 the differential is very close. Started off strong in 2022 with a 5.46 and has been dropping since. 2023 is 4.94 and 2024, which is on pace to get equal or just a little bit, just a few more ratings more, is at 4.03. So we're really in the same type of environment here. As you may recall, she was indeed in Women of Wrestling. What was her name again? I can't remember. The Lioness, just simply like that. The Beast defeats the Lioness. McLean is never going to change. Anyway, so she's been injured for a while, of course. She couple of injuries, so that does stunt your growth. But when she debuted, when after her debut, apparently in 2021, and then got really into it in 2022, she had 27 matches. Wasn't exactly a work rate phenomena before that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. What does her match guide look like? Let's look. What's her highest rated match? From what is this? A tag team match, 3 3/4 from the Observer. Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter. 7.24. What was this show? It was just on a random NXT. Okay. But like even her matches are in the same vicinity as her rating, right? The majority, even a little higher, but you know, we're not exactly tearing the house down here either. Mandy Rose versus Nikita Lyons, 1.82. Yeah, I did not see that, and I'm not exactly compelled. Lash Legend versus Nikita Lyons, 3. I mean, I get it. I absolutely get it. So her ratings, as far as she goes, she's got 2 zeros and 2 10s. Can we find, okay, we got a 0 right here. We've got a 0 right here. From Ultramark 1. That actually sounds like, you know, an anime character. Ultramark 1. NXT has a very strong women's division. And Nikita, excuse me, Probs is easily the worst part of it. She's just terrible and only there for one purpose, which we know what it is. She's just awful in ring, and there's plenty of better women's '(s) wrestler who deserve the opportunities, which she'll probably get. It feels as if she knows her purpose isn't to wrestle, and that's what I dislike about her. Easily a channel changer. Every orm she appears on the screen, I prefer Dana Brooke to her, which says a lot because I really dislike Dana. I said Dana Brooke for the. I said Dana Brooke for the giggles. October 17, 2024. So this is this year. This is a fresh one out of the box. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know how seriously you can take someone who doesn't use punctuation. I'm just saying. Let's look at the 1 here just above it. 1 out of 10 by Darkblade 0914. And again, this is just a couple of days ago is when we're recording this on November 1st. I don't like Nikita. While she has a killer look and surprising athleticism, she just doesn't feel good to watch. She's too reckless. A younger and even botchier Nia Jax. A horrid personality outside of wrestling with her social media attitude. And her coming as a danger waiting to happen with her double knee braces. He's not someone, probably meant she. He's not someone I want to see in Maine, and her time ended and she first had her push in the original 2.0 run. Grown and getting better women mean Nikita lost her place. Pitiful if she didn't act with misconduct and already scary ring work that could hurt her opponent. All right. So that's interesting. Although I don't quite understand a bit of what they're trying to say here. I don't know. Just caught a glance of this this 3 here. The 3. This comes in on November 9 by Wrestling Fan 619, which I feel we've read Wrestling Fan 619 previously on other cage match dumpster dives. She's decent, I'll give her that. She's hot, and that's why people like her. But other than that, she's not bad, just not anything special. She's improved, though I'll give her that. And she can get a 6. Edit. She absolutely sucks, especially now. So what I'm understanding here is that Wrestling Fan 619 originally thought she was hot. You know, he likes the ample attributes, and decided to give her a 6. And as of November 9, they gave her a 3 out of 10, saying with the edit, she absolutely sucks, especially now. She only has herself to blame. Let's see. We got a lot of 2s. Oh, we got a 10 here. Let's check out this 10. Oh, well, wait, hang on. Here's the other 0. Here's the other 0. There were only 2 zeros, right? Right. So we got the other 0 here. Why don't we do the other 0 and then we'll look at what WWE fans are raving about. Richie's88 says, she's dreadful. She has no interest or passion for wrestling. She's just as dreadful as the Cat, Dana Brooke, and Candice Michelle. I don't know if I'd group all those 3 women into the same. I'm not a big fan of Dana Brooke, but Dana Brooke can kind of work. She's not Minami Toyota, but you know, like Candice Michelle. Candice Michelle was mediocre, and the Cat wasn't really a pro wrestler. No, Dana, but okay, look, it's fine. Are Triple H and WWE desperately trying to revive the Divas division? All she is interested in is fame that comes with WWE. If this is the future of the women's division that WWE wants, then we're all screwed. I mean, you know, most of the look at all the women on the NXT roster right now, and you know, they all sort of fit the same mold. I don't think like there's much difference in the ways a lot of them wrestle because they're all taught the same homogenized way of doing things. They're all conventionally hot. They all kind of, that's why like I'm looking at the clip before and I wasn't trying to be facetious. I legitimately could not recognize that person. And I was like, this is probably Maddie Renkowski because, you know, she had some facial expressions that kind of reminded me of her, but it turns out it wasn't. But it's kind of like it's kind of the same thing. So we had a 10 out of 10 here. Written by Big R3D Mach 1 and 3. Big R3D Mach 1 and 3. Nikita Lyons' presence. This is a 10 out of 10, by the way. This is a 10 out of 10, folks. We're in Misawa territory. We're in Will Ospreay territory, Danielson territory, Karl Gotch. This is where we're at here. Nikita Lyons' presence in the ring is electrifying. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, electrifying. Every move she makes speaks volumes to me. With an aura, I feel like I should be reading this in another voice now. Nikita Lyons' presence in the ring is electrifying. Every move she makes speaks volumes to me. With an aura that commands attention and body language that exudes confidence, she possesses all the markings of WWE's next female superstar. Keep an eye on Nikita as she's destined for greatness in the world of wrestling. Nikita's YouTube channel, Lions Den TV, amplifies her presence beyond the ring, spreading messages. Spreading messages of empowerment and authenticity. She's just not destined for greatness in wrestling. She's a force of inspiration that could spread worldwide. That could spread worldwide. Yeah, like a virus. Like the avian flu. Do we think it's a bod? Do we think that's a bod? You forgot to add the word trailblazer. Where's the other 10? It puts this one caught my eye from Texas Yosh. Gave her a 2 out of 10. She's not very good, like at all. Degenerates on Twitter memed her despite her besides her, excuse me, let's read that again. She's not very good, like at all. Degenerates on Twitter memed her despite her being pretty bad at every facet of wrestling. Ah, true. True. I mean, let's be frank. She got into the spotlight because, because everyone was horny on Maine because of the pandemic. And I sincerely believe this. I really do believe this. Like she got big because it was the pandemic and everyone was just like looking for something. Everyone was bored. Everyone was, couldn't go out and, you couldn't go out and find significant others, not even significant others, just, partners, one-night standers to bring home. You couldn't do that. So what's left? You get horny watching pro wrestling, watching bad pro wrestling, right? That's the next logical step. And that's kind of where she got over. And I think that's why, they decided to push her the way they did, because she got a lot of attention. Now, don't get me wrong. That's what you're supposed to do in pro wrestling. You're supposed to get yourself over. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. And if that's what it is, it's what it is. But there comes, you hit a ceiling at some point in that kind of stuff. And now people are just like bored of it and they moved on they've moved on. But she's also exposed herself in ways that, people realize, oh, wait, she kind of stinks. And, her politics and whatever are kind of not great either. So, it is what it is. I want to find, okay, here's the other 10. From Makoto92. This was written in 2022. See? Okay. 10 out of 10. Nikita has the greatest look I've ever seen in female competitor. Plus, she progresses very fast, like her colleague Tiffany Stratton. I can't wait to get her back in the ring as soon as possible. I can't wait to get her back in the ring. That sounds kind of creepy. That sounds really weird. That's not, you shouldn't phrase things like that, Makoto92. That's very strange. She has the greatest look he has ever seen. The greatest look I have ever seen in a female competitor. Okay, pal. We know what you're thinking of. The Phenomenal Nightmare gave her a 9 here. Nikita Lyons is a young and beautiful wrestler with talent and future. She is good in the ring. I think he will win championships in WWE or another company. I think she's really good. She's going to win championships in WWE or maybe not in WWE. Maybe elsewhere. I think she will win championships in WWE or maybe will win championships elsewhere. That's no analysis. Phenomenal Nightmare is he likes his young and beautiful. Oh, that's right. But I keep forgetting you can't do that unless you're put it in. We have any other good ones from 2002? Why is everyone writing he? Like, at first I thought it was a typo, but there's like 3 different typos. Was this a thing? El Tetechori or whatever in April 2022 or June 2022 said, at the moment, I don't think he deserves more than this rating. He has to show his full potential. He is too young. This is a joke, right? Yeah, I guess it's a bot thing. But like, you know, her and I don't know. Anyway, Nikita Lyons, brother. Hope you hope you didn't buy any stock back in the day. If you did, cut your losses, sell it now. Because you can, it will get worse. It will get devalued even more, and you will be even poorer. You will be much more poorer than you are now. Nikita is an innovator in pro wrestling that has not been seen since Eric Watts. Oh, what a disaster. Do we rate her above or below Oksana? Like, Oksana didn't even wrestle long enough, right? Like, she barely did anything. At least that's what my memory is serving me. Well, clearly she is below. Let me move the thing here. 2.53 is Oksana. 2.53, but she barely did anything. Well, what am I talking about? Okay. No, like, okay, I think she's definitely worse. Yeah, she's worse. I mean, I know it wasn't exactly NJPW back in the early 2010s, you know. The Oksana and Alicia Fox teaming against the Funkadactyls. Can you imagine how much of a disaster that was? Like, there's things here. Survivor Series 2013. They had a 14-woman elimination match that had Eva Marie, JoJo, Natalia, the Bellas, the Funkadactyls, AJ Lee, Oksana, Alicia Fox, Caitlyn. Caitlyn was pretty good, though. Rosa Mendez, Summer Rain, and Tamina. Christ. How to get me to not get excited about a match? That's pretty fucking brutal. That's really brutal. You know what I read today, and I didn't tweet it out. I blue skied it out. Just before starting. Hey, you know, have y'all joined up on Blue Sky yet? I'm gonna tell you, it's been pretty cool seeing all of the old wrestling Twitter standards coming in. A lot of people that I missed. You know, I think the swamp that was Twitter, getting off the swamp that was Twitter for me was best, and it's something I had to do, and it's something I believed I should do at the same time. The reason, you know, in my last tweet or whatever, you know, I had said, you know, that I was leaving Twitter because there was no way I could stay on a platform that was supported by a man who outright hates trans people. As many of you know, I have a trans son, beautiful, brilliant trans boy. So that would be just hypocritical on my part. And, you know, I don't have time for transphobes. I don't have time to hang around the platform and make him any money. So he could do without my pennies. That'd be fine. But, you know, and while it's overall, I think it's a good thing, I still felt like, you know, there's people I missed. There's people on the regular that I missed. And the the one thing that so I'm glad that they're all back, and it feels pretty good. But it's funny, right? Like anyway, you should join, because it's legitimately much more chill, and there's more than enough room to just like sit around and actually discuss pro wrestling. And it's happened to me a couple of times over the past couple of days. So, I have a lot of hope for Blue Sky still. But it also brings back like a certain crowd of people that sometimes gets under my skin, but just annoys me. Not because they're saying anything really like outrageous or sad, or just there's just people are just annoying. Does that just people who are just annoying, and they're back. So I mute them. I just move on. They're I don't go around. It's not you, Evan. It's just some people are like, oh, right. Some people use Twitter as a fucking diary. I never understood that. Like coming online and saying like all the things that happen and how sad and morose and like, whatever, or happy or, exalted or angry. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, It's like, calm down. And they're back. So, but it, like I plan on using Blue Sky a lot smarter than when I did on Twitter. Plan to mute a lot. And the thing here is exactly go to therapy, not even go to therapy. Like get yourself a journal, like get a fucking diary and write that shit down. Like, it's just like, just for the most mundane stuff, Oh, a couple of years ago, a couple of years ago, my cat fell into a vat of pudding, and we had to get him out of the pudding, and then we had to wash him. And for 3 days, he was terrified of pudding. And it keeps bringing back really sad memories. And today's the 2-day anniversary. And then I'm like, my God. Jesus. Anyway. So, I'm deciding. Look, the cat fell into the fucking vat of pudding. Work with me here. So essentially, I'm gonna use it smarter, and people that I know, just annoy me with the way they post. I'm just gonna mute them, and the fact that there's no algorithm on Blue Sky, that there's nothing to game, then their posts are gonna disappear really quickly, regardless. Right? Like they're just gonna disappear really quickly, and they're not going to end up in my feed or be boosted or whatever. It's just gonna be like disappearing, right? So I myself have to be more chill about it. I've often said when people were joining Blue Skies, like, try to forget what you know about Twitter and come on here thinking that this is brand new. Just forget about, and I catch myself sometimes having these same reflexes, right? Because now that I see a lot of these annoying people coming back, I'm like, oh my God. And the toxic positivity people, those who can't handle an ounce of criticism on the thing that they like. That really fucking bothers me, because they hide behind this veneer of positivity when criticism is actually legit. When criticism is important and legitimate, and then when they don't like being criticized, or not them, but their thing being criticized, then they get upset, and then they pull up the curtain of positivity, and they're like, well, we're positive here. We're positive. I like to think, chat, a lot of you know me for a while now. Tell me, I like to think I'm a positive guy overall, right? I think overall I'm positive, but I'm also, I'm also balanced enough, or at least, yeah, I think I have a good balance between between the positivity and being a critic, right? Like, I don't sit here and shit on everything all the time and just complain and have these bizarre thoughts. Like, if I'm going to criticize something, I'm going to try my best to give you reasons as to why I'm feeling the way I do about a thing. Give you some background on it. Give you some logic. I try anyway. But just because you criticize something doesn't mean you're a negative person. But there's some people who can't stand this. There's some people who just can't stand it in any way, shape, or form. You're the most cynical Canadian you've ever heard. You've never spoke to Evan. Never spoke to King of the North. Yeah, but and to me, this toxic positivity kind of thing, you know, is one of the reasons why criticism in pro wrestling is frowned upon and is in a very bad spot because, well, I've written an article about it on Voices of Wrestling, an article that Dave Meltzer liked so much he promoted it. It's just like people don't understand what criticism is for. They think criticism is just complaining, and there's a difference between complaining and criticism. There really is a difference. And I think there is absolutely room for criticism in everything that is offered up as a product, whether it's an entertainment product, a food product, sports product. Criticism is warranted everywhere. But there is a way to approach criticism so that it's helpful, it's constructive, as opposed to just bashing stuff. As opposed to just be like, no, I hate this. Because, this is also something I have said multiple times, I believe criticism, true criticism, comes from a place of love. You know, Roger Ebert would not have spent his entire career reviewing movies, good and bad, if he hated movies. You know, there is something in what you're criticizing that you love. That's inevitable. If there is no love for what you're criticizing, then it's not criticism. Then it's something else. It's posturing, it's grifting, it's bad faith, or it's just plain old ignorance. That's being pushed forward. Just as simple as that. So there you go. Anyway, what were we talking about? Toxic positivity, Blue Sky. Hey, come and join me on Blue Sky. You could almost say criticism is warranted. You know what? That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt right there. Warranted criticism. I like it. I like it. You know what? You know something else that sort of bothers. I'm just venting here. You know something else that bothers me about is, you know, the recent uptick in blue skies, blue sky people popping in. You know, people coming in and acting like there wasn't a wrestling community there before they did. Coming in and it's like, yeah, we're gonna help you through this, Wrestle Sky. We're gonna help you. This is Wrestle Sky. Wrestle. We're gonna be at the top of this. There were people there before. We might not have been a big community, but we were there, and we knew each other, and it was nice. We didn't need saviors. We were doing fine. Kind of embarrassing when you think about it. Anyway. Let me see here. Yeah. So they're trying to overthrow you literally when the British came to America. Hiya, Kristen, member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. It's very nice to see you. Royalties in the form of TEW streams. Oh, well, I still haven't said no. There's something that came to my attention today, and there's a couple of news items I want to. There's a couple of news items that I do want to pull up here, but I was reading some stuff earlier today. I had some time on my hands, and I was at an event or whatever, and during certain things, I was like, okay, well, I've got some time on my hands, and I was reading some articles and stuff, and I pull up this thing on Slam Wrestling that talks about that. Let me pull it up here. Talks about Sandy Parker. And I'm like, who? Sandy Parker, who was a black woman who wrestled years ago, actually was the first black woman to ever hold a world championship in pro wrestling. I'm like, who? Like, I'm legitimately sitting there going, I don't know who we're talking about. And what makes it so, I'm reading the article, and it turns out that the author, Greg Oliver from Slam Wrestling, was writing it because he found out like a couple of days ago that Sandy Parker had died 2 years ago. And that's absolutely bonkers. I'm like, okay, so she's potentially a historically significant person in pro wrestling, specifically for women's wrestling. And look, I've never heard of her. I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to be one of these people who's like, oh yes, Sandy Parker, yes. Oh, no, I've never heard of her. And it comes out like this. And then Dave Meltzer today posts an obituary that's going to be in the Observer tomorrow, but he gave subscribers some free access. So I'm thinking, why don't we all do a little research together? Why don't we all sit around and find out about Sandy Parker? And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that because I never heard of her, you obviously have never heard of her either. You couldn't possibly have heard about her if I've never heard about her. That's not what I'm saying, but maybe you have, and all the more power to you. And I would have loved to be in your shoes before this, but I was thinking, if anything, we could read the obituary together, and maybe we'll glean some new information, or just discover someone completely new and where she fits in history here. Because the fact that she passed away 2 years ago and no one picked up on it, like nothing, is incredibly sad. If she is indeed like this hallmark figure that Dave seems to corroborate in his obituary. So this is a subscriber exclusive. Shout out to everyone at Figure 4. I'm sure you don't mind me in this circumstance doing this. It's not a regular practice, but I think there's something very interesting to pull up here. And look, if you don't have a subscription to the Observer, I think you should for times like this. This is tremendous. And if you don't, well, you probably never will. So, what's the use, right? But I still think everyone at some point, as a wrestling fan who's interested in, particularly in the past, should have, or at least have had, an Observer subscription at some point. Anyway, so let's get to it. Let's read this Dave Meltzer's obituary about Sandy Parker. Sandy Parker, the first black woman to hold a major world championship, passed away in June 2022. But nobody within the wrestling world knew about it until it was reported this past week by Greg Oliver on Slam Wrestling. While almost all sources listed her birthday as March 2nd, 1952, Oliver reported her being 77 at her time of death, at the time of her death, and her actual birthday being November 1st, 1944. She started wrestling in 1968 and worked regularly through 1977, with the last several years seeing her as one of the few women who got semi-regular bookings while not being part of the fabulous Moolah stable, particularly as a star in Japan. Parker, who was 5'2", was one of the top in-ring women wrestlers of her era, an underdog babyface who mostly made fiery comebacks. Oliver credited Chris Bergstrom with finding out that Parker, real name Cassandra Jolene Parker, had died more than 2 years ago while living in Las Vegas. Susan Green, who briefly held the NWA Women's World Tag Team titles with Parker and considered her a friend, had tried to contact her recently after her Christmas card she sent was returned, and when she tried to call her, the phone number was disconnected. Holy shit, this is so incredibly sad. Green said that in 2022, Parker had a caretaker living with her who wouldn't let her talk to anyone. Odd. Green said she mentioned Windsor, a city that Parker lived in, heard it, and insisted on talking, and they talked for 15 minutes. Parker said she was going to the hospital for tests, but she was very excited about their careers. Talking about their careers. They agreed to talk a week later, but Green couldn't get in touch with her and tried to call her every day with no answer. 3 weeks later, she called and the phone was disconnected. Oliver said that they know she went to University Medical Center in Las Vegas on June 21st, 2022, I guess he means here, and died before the end of the month. How fucking sad, man. Parker's name popped up in the news in 2021. WWE decided to honor Ethel Johnson for their Legacy Hall of Fame with the idea she was the first black woman wrestler. It was a mess. Oh yeah, I remember this. It was a mess because there were those on the internet who said that, and whoever made the decision or was told to find out who the first was found Johnson's name and no more research was done. However, Babs Wingo, the sister of Johnson, preceded her as a wrestler by a few months, so the premise wasn't accurate. And for whatever reason, likely an honest mistake, or perhaps figuring nobody would know, the footage used for Ethel Johnson was actually 1970s footage of Parker, which I eventually reported at the time. Yeah, I remember that. That was fucking embarrassing. That was an embarrassment by WWE. The families came out and everything. You remember that stint? Yeah, that was a fucking mess. On May 13, 1973, Parker beat Miyoko Hoshino in Choshi, Japan, to win the WWWA World Championship, the famed red belt of All Japan Women's Wrestling, which would be the same belt later held by legends like Jackie Saito, Jaguar Yokota, Chigusa Nagayo, Bull Nakano, Lioness Asuka, Manami Toyota, and more. Mildred Burke, who had been the top star on the first women's wrestling tour in Japan in 1954 as world champion, was affiliated with the promotion and booked women like Parker, Jean Antone, Marie Vagnon, Betty Nicoli, Sharon Lee, Jane O'Brien, Sylvia Hackney, Princess Warstar, Jackie West, and Lita Merez, the mother of future roller derby skater Dave Merez, for Japan in the early days of the promotion. Many pops to the roller derby connection here by Dave. That's actually tremendous. The WWWA name actually came from Burke, as after her split from Billy Wolf, she formed her own promotion, the WWWA, and made herself world champion, a belt she held until her 1956 retirement. Because of her 1954 tour, Burke was thought of in Japan as the female version of Lou Thez, the first authentic world champion who came to the country and had a credibility in that country that the other world champion, Fabulous Moolah, never had. Moolah did come to All Japan Women in 1968. I didn't know this. And even lost her title for a few weeks there. But they used Burke's title as their main title from 1970 until the close of the promotion. She lost the title back to Hoshino on June 10, 1973 in Ibaraki, Japan. No black women held a women's world title again until Aja Kong beat Bull Nakano for that same title in 1992. Aja Kong is black? Did I just learn something, or are we... This is what I do. I read things and then I pull up Wikipedia. Erika Shishito is a Japanese professional wrestler. She currently makes appearances, blah, blah, blah. She's the founder of... her mother is Japanese and her father, the late Henry Manigo, is an African-American. Okay. Who worked at the U.S. Army, who worked for the U.S. Army at Tachawaka Airfield. Huh. I did learn something today. Look at that. Parker was born in Vancouver and attended matches regularly, often a few times per week as a teenager in the early 60s. She would also go to Seattle for matches. She knew the male wrestlers in the area and some talked with her about breaking her in, but at the time she passed. A few years later, when she was living in Windsor, Ontario, she decided she wanted to be a pro wrestler and found Luke Klein's wrestling school in Detroit. She was mostly trained by women wrestlers, Lucille Dupree, Linda Klein, and Mary Jane Mull. And 4 months later, she started working on some shows for The Sheik in 1968. She started traveling the next year and moved to South Carolina to train at Moolah's stable, given that she seemed to be the only way to be a full-time touring pro wrestler in that area. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. While she and Tony Rose were probably the best known women wrestlers in the stable, she had many issues with Moolah, who was 50 but kept herself as world champion in those days. Moolah wanted all her women to come off as ladylike to the public and uphold an image, while Parker, who was gay, what? Would hang out at gay bars. Well, this is like, how has this woman's legacy been flying under the radar for all these years? She was the first black, not only the first black wrestler, black women's wrestler to own a world title, but she was also gay. Like, this is, I'm kind of mind boggled at this point. What a twist! And Dave just like drops it there. It's like, yeah, because she was gay. You know, she hung out in gay bars and Moolah didn't like that. Wow. While Parker was not the only gay woman wrestler, the others all hit it, and Parker did as well, sometimes dating male wrestlers, and was even married at one point, which was a fairly common thing, right? At the time. And I'm not saying that it was right, but it was like fairly common, and not just in pro wrestling. Like, this was an actual thing. Parker toured North America as part of the Moolah stable from 1969 to 1972. She said Moolah read the riot act to her about going to gay bars and wanted Parker to date her nephew. Susan Green, who was also gay and part of Moolah's troupe, said she knew to hide it from Moolah. Parker claimed that Moolah was a hypocrite, claiming she had dalliances with some of the women she trained. Oh, I don't remember this little bit of Moolah lore. She claimed that at times Moolah tried to get her to sleep with promoters for better payoffs. Well, yes, I mean, yeah. Yes. While on a tour of Hawaii while still working for Moolah, Green and Parker beat Rose and Donna Cristianello in 2 out of 3 falls on November 24, 1971 at the HIC Arena in Honolulu to win the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championships. It really didn't mean much as those belts were rarely talked about. Oh, how the more things change, right? 3 days later at the Honolulu Civic Auditorium, Rose and Cristianello won the belts back. After leaving the Moolah stable, Parker wound up based in Los Angeles and affiliated with Burke. She mostly worked on the West Coast or in the Southwest, as well as Hawaii, and became a star in Japan. This has been fascinating so far. I don't know about you. This is an education here. Besides her holding the WWWA title once, she held the tag titles 8 times, although it was all over a 2-year period. Masked Lee and Parker beat Mariko Akagi and Yoshiko Miyamoto, who later became Jumbo Miyamoto, for the titles on June 11, 1973 in Sasebo, and lost them back on June 25th in Ofunado. They did another switch with the 2 teams, with Lee and Parker winning on July 17, 1973 in Yokohama. They lost them back on July 24, 1973 in Nagoya. Parker and Antone beat Junko Sasaki and Peggy Kuruda on May 16, 1974 in Shizuoka. They lost them back on May 21, 1974 in Kochi. Parker and Betty Nicoli beat Sasaki and Kuroda on June 3, 1974 in Gifu before they vacated the titles after winning them. Parker and Nicoli beat Sasaki and Akagi on June 14, 1974 in Nagoya. They lost to Miyamoto and Sasaki on June 28, 1974 in Morioka. They won them back on June 29, 1974 in Ishihara. They lost them back on July 9, 1974 in Osaka. Then they won them back on July 21st in 1974 in Takikawa. They lost them to Akagi and Miyuki Yanagi on July 26, 1974 in Muronen. Parker and Antone won them on July 30, 1974 in Mizusawa. Miyamoto and Akagi won them on August 5th, 1974 in Tokyo. Not the most compelling bit, but nonetheless, you get a good idea how, the titles were essentially hot potatoed. While she mostly worked for All Japan Women, she did do a 1974 tour where she was Moolah's tag team partners for the IWE in Japan, which probably indicated how strong her reputation was in Japan to see a major men's group insist on being part of matches where Moolah brought herself in as the top star along with Paula Kay. She noted when she was in Moolah's stable, Kay told her outright that, quote, "I don't like black people." But Parker shot back at her, and eventually through the travels on the road, they became friends, and Parker later said, "You're right, Sandy. You have to talk to the person. You have to hate or like the person, not the color." Aw. Either that or Paula Kay is a hell of a worker. She noted that when they were on tour in Alabama at a restaurant and were eating together, that the restaurant served the other women, including Kay, but not her. She said Kay saw this, grabbed the guy behind the counter, and said, "If Parker didn't get the food in 2 minutes, your ass will be dead." That's tremendous. Okay. That's pretty cool. But she worked only a few dates in California, occasionally billed as the California State Women's Champion, and occasionally went to the Central States and St. Louis to work with Antone and Nicoli. So most of her career was in Japan until finishing up in 1977 on a tour that included her losing to Akagi for the WWWA title on March 23 in Matsudo. She worked a variety of jobs and would regularly attend the Cauliflower Alley Club events in Southern California and later Las Vegas as her link to the business. She was contacted to be part of a documentary called Out in the Ring about gay wrestlers, but decided against doing it. Wow. Okay. Good read, and I legitimately had never heard of her, and I think I think it's kind of crazy that you know, even among historians or whatnot, like it's not a name that comes up often. But then again, okay, I understand. Like if she called it quits in 1977, right? That's what Dave says. Until finishing up in 1977. Most of her career was in Japan until finishing up in 1977. So I think what Dave is saying here is that she wrapped up her wrestling career in 77. So if she hadn't done anything at all from 1977 on to 2022 when she passed away, I can understand why a lot of fans, like, first of all, how a lot of fans just never heard of her, right? Because, you know, you don't keep yourself active, you don't stay in the conversation. Well, you know, eventually people just like move away. They not move away. They just don't, people just don't know who you are, right? And when it comes to historians and whatnot, well, I've, you know, in the conversations, you know, and that I've had, and I've had the pleasure of being around for, I've never heard anyone just like strike up a conversation about Sandy Parker. You know, like I've never heard anyone sort of go, yeah, Sandy Parker. And to me, there was, you know, to me, there's a wealth of information here. This is fascinating actually. And she's a black woman and she's going to Japan to wrestle. Like that's just like, you know, conservative minded, xenophobic to a degree, especially in those days, Japan, you know, I think it's fascinating. It is a fascinating story. Yeah, look, I think this is tremendous, and this is why I, you know. Anyway, rest in peace to her. The fact that we haven't heard about this until 2 years past her death is just, that's a story in and about itself. She was, you know, she had a caretaker that allegedly didn't let her talk to anyone. Like that's insane in and about itself. Like there's a story there. There's an investigation. There's a tale to be spun here. It's not as if she had become a recluse because she'd still go to the Cauliflower Alley Club. You know, like that. It's just remarkable. Like she's a gay black woman and she's going to wrestle in Japan. Like that's where she settled in. And she, you know, for Mildred Burke's spin-off promotion when she broke away from Wolf, like there's such a story there. What am I missing? What like? See, this is why this right here, this story right here is exactly why it's proof. Actually, it's consecrated proof right here as to why we can't let the history of wrestling be dictated by corporations, by WWE and even AEW to a degree, right? They're doing good now, but you never know. These are companies, right? We've talked about this multiple times on this show and for years, even going back to when I was doing shit on Fightful, okay? The problem with WWE basically owning all of the videotape of all the wrestling that existed in North America, or at least like what, 85% of pro wrestling that happened in the territories back in the 70s, the 80s. The problem, and WCW and ECW, the problem is that this archive of truly historical stuff remains in their possession, and they can do whatever the hell they want with it. Now, what do they want to do? They want to drip feed it on their WWE Vault thing, which has tremendous stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's drip fed, as opposed to when we had the network, when we could just flip it open and watch whatever we wanted. This is why I think it's disgusting when people create these obscene, the obscene is going a little far, but these incredibly twisted narratives around Dave Meltzer and try to discredit him, so that when it's time to focus on history from a man who has covered it all, who has seen it all since for 40 years, this man is the cornerstone of everything that has happened in pro wrestling. He can remember stuff. He's talked to the main people. He's always been in contact. He's always been at the center of it. And somehow, because of how certain guys with podcasts don't like him, and because of how certain fans don't like when he doesn't give 5 stars to the most mundane matches, he's suddenly all sorts. He's unreliable. He's biased. He's terrible. He's a misogynist. He's all these things. He's all these things, but they're all built off of feelings and impressions. And then Dave arrives with shit like this that honestly only Dave knows. This is the stuff that, there's shit in here that I'm sure no one else knows than Dave. And he remembers this stuff. He's got, this is exactly it. This is exactly the example right here as to why the history of pro wrestling cannot be dictated by these promotions, by these corporations whose objective is not to promote pro wrestling's history. It's to make money. So they will pull out whatever they need from pro wrestling history when it's time to make money. But in the meantime, all these things fall to the wayside. So when something like this comes up, I'm like, this is tremendous. This is why we have to do our best to protect it. I don't have a solution. I don't know how to do it. Dave's not going to be around forever. Anyway, Sandy Parker, man. Sandy Parker died in June 2022. We only found out about it 4 days ago or so. First black woman to win a major world championship. It's tremendous stuff. I love this shit. I love it so much. This is the kind of thing that gets me going. This is the kind of shit that really gets me going. And yes, and there's something tragic about the story too. And I wish we could dig deeper. Like I'm convinced there is a compelling tale here. There's something here for sure. Dave is the only journal I know that covered Inoki's visits to Pakistan in detail. Till then, even publications in Pakistan hadn't covered it properly. There you go. We just need to preserve Meltzer's head like they did in Futurama. Well, there you go. Keep those in the little jars. That'll be tremendous. Dave's got to stop carrying water for Matt Riddle. A lot of people have to stop carrying water for Matt Riddle. A lot of people do. All right. Let's do a little news. So earlier today, I get a little tip off. I get a little tip off from someone earlier today. I get a little tip off and I'm told, hey, Mike Bailey's no longer on the TNA roster page. I'm like, what? I go to check out myself, right? That's what you should always do. That's what you should always do. You go check that out, right? You go, okay, they're alphabetical order first name, right? Mike Santana, that's not the same guy. Matthew Raywalt, not the same guy. That is correct. Like, where is Mike Bailey? Oh, they probably just put it under Speedball, right? The RQST system, Rascals system. Oh, well, it's the, right? Because they can't, the, right? They can't sort it properly. So, okay, all right. So we're, all right. So Santino Marella, Steve, Shog, where is Mike Bailey? There's no Speedball. And indeed, then it's revealed by Fightful Select, say that Speedball Mike Bailey's contract has been up since November 1st. I think a lot of us saw this coming when he dropped the X Division title to the Moose. And also sort of, well, he's kind of been dropping some subtle hints that his time was coming up and so on and so forth. And it makes sense in the TNA context as well. They are still in this restructuring mode. They're getting rid of people to sort of free up some money. You know, they fired some people. I'm not saying that Speedball was fired, especially not after a report that says that his contract came up on the 1st. I don't know if he was not renewed because TNA decided to, or if it was a mutual understanding. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But Speedball Mike Bailey is officially back on officially, unofficially, back on the market, right? And then Sean Ross Sapp posts this on Blue Sky. I got to tell you, folks, I'm not going to lie. Feels kind of good to be posting some things that are happening on the Blue Sky as opposed to anywhere else. Speedball Mike Bailey appears to be headed to AEW, according to those Fightful Select spoke with. Now, I don't have the full details on this. I don't know what more details you need, quite frankly. But hey, I'm not sure I'm into that. I'm not sure I'm into it. And don't get me wrong, okay? I got to start clearing the air a little bit here. Because I'm sure a lot of you are like, oh, how can you not like Mike Bailey? No, I love Speedball Mike Bailey. I think he is tremendous. He is a proud representative of the country of Canada, of the province of Quebec, a genuinely nice guy. This is one of these guys that I never hear anything bad about him. Like I never, ever, 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 ever hear anyone say something shitty about Mike Bailey or something shitty that Mike Bailey did. He's one of these guys that comes across as just being universally beloved. Okay? That's all there is to it. However, I am not convinced that 2024 AEW is the best landing spot for him. You will notice I said 2024 AEW right now. I don't think he's a guy that will find his footing in AEW. And this is not a barefoot joke. I don't think he's going to find his footing in AEW. AEW is in a weird, well, it not in a weird spot, but it is in itself in a reconstructive moment, right? And they're trying to refine their focus by refocusing on elements that used to make the company work. We got Jon Moxley back on top. We've got perennial favorite Orange Cassidy challenging for the world championship. We just brought in the Hurt Business, who looked tremendous. I'm eating crow. I think it's been great so far, and elevating new guys like Swerve. Kenny Omega's on the cusp of returning, and that's going to be a big deal. I don't know if, little awkward energy Mike Bailey is going to be able to get himself over. If you had told me Mike Bailey is joining the AEW roster in, early 2020, like just before the pandemic crushed us all, right? Or even, particularly in that time, or even just after that, right? Like post Bryan Danielson's arrival. If you were to tell me Mike Bailey's coming on the roster, I'm slapping my hands together and I'm like, let's fucking go, bro. Like, this was the era where truly AEW was where the best wrestle, and you get banger matches week after week after week after week. And Mike Bailey would have fit in like a glove. He would have just, he'd be, third from the bottom, right? And he'd be tearing the house down, he'd be wrestling Dante Martin, and people would be, tearing their shirts off with how great it was, right? And then we'd all be excited about the prospect of Bailey versus Ospreay, with Ospreay coming in because he had spent the last 2 years just having banger matches on TV. But AEW is no longer exclusively focused on pro wrestling, or as it perhaps was once. Now there's you got to work in you got to work in the personality. You got to get your promos down. You got to get this shit down now, right? And Mike Bailey, God damn, as much as I like Mike Bailey, as much as I like the dude, and I love his matches, the energy he exudes is not, like Chat said, is not US TV. He's not a US TV wrestler, right? Nerds like us, we see Mike Bailey and we're like, all right, boys, here we go. We're in for a good one because it's Mike Bailey, right? So you're just like, yeah, this is gonna rule. Let's go. What was the one he had just recently that was really, really good that I saw? Why is it completely escapes me? But I saw one recently. Oh, with Takeshita. Holy fuck. Yeah, that was great. Like at the Maple Leaf Pro thing. Yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. And I see these things, but these are great matches. I don't see, the thing is that I don't see how Mike Bailey is going to get himself over in AEW. Now, am I going to be happy for this guy? This guy who has an incredible work ethic, who was making the best out of a bad situation when he was stuck in Japan during the pandemic and doing the best he could and establishing himself. Like, he was, before the pandemic hit, Speedball Mike Bailey was on an upward buzz on the American Indies, and people were taking notice and like, holy shit, this rules. This guy rules. And then the pandemic hits and all his momentum nosedives. And then he comes back and has to rebuild that buzz. And Jesus Christ, that he ever did, right? With that WrestleMania weekend 2 years ago, where he was, the unequivocal MVP. Like, he was wrestling 3 times a night and delivering 4-star matches every time, right? Every ounce that he can squeeze out of Tony Khan, comrade Tony Khan, in this circumstance here, is deserved. Like, this is a guy who has sacrificed and is given again. And he loves, it's a guy you can't take, he loves pro wrestling. And you can't take that away from him. And especially in a moment right now, especially when it comes to Japanese fans, where a lot of Japanese fans wonder if certain wrestlers really do love pro wrestling or not, right? Is this a guy, not even this is a guy who loves pro wrestling, loves it as much as I do, as you probably do. He watches the tape, he nerds out on matches, like he's one of us. So there's all sorts of good, strong qualities regarding Mike Bailey, but you know what? His energy and his charisma are not one of them. They're just not. And I don't, like, the prospect of a Mike Bailey Ricochet match is exciting, but not enough to say, yeah, lock him into AEW. The prospect of another match with Takeshita, absolutely, but not enough to lock into AEW. With Will Ospreay, yeah, sure, yes, let's do that again. I guess Danielson would be the fresh match, and that would be tremendous, but I don't know. I don't know if he's a guy that's meant for North American TV wrestling. Or they're going to have to work on his package. Please don't clip that. They're going to have to work on his packaging to make sure that he comes across as something that he comes across as something bigger, right? Much, much bigger. Because when the news broke today that his contract was out, and I was sitting back in my chair and I was thinking, and I was like, okay, so he should be going back to Japan. Immediately that was my thought. Go back to Japan and have yourself a proper New Japan run. Like, join the roster, join the junior division for a couple of years. Have yourself a proper run. Win yourself a Best of Super Juniors. Win yourself the junior heavyweight title, right? Do that. Go to Arena Mexico. Go do CMLL is hot. CMLL is hot these days. Go there, work with the guys there. Have yourself some great matches with Volador Jr. Go fight the Villano kids. Go fight Atlantis Jr. Have yourself some barn burners with Mascara Dorada. Have a Verno be your base. That kind of stuff. But chat makes a very good point. There's no money to be made in Japan. I'm talking selfishly as a fan, right? Of course. Like, that's where I think Speedball excels. Now, the money is unquestionably better in AEW, and he can still live in Montreal. He's already got his visa paperwork all set up. Like, you know, the guy's good to go, right? I could be wrong. I've been wrong when it comes to AEW doing hirings, right? I said, you know, hiring Adam Copeland is going to be a disaster. Why are we doing this? It sucks. And Edge ended up assimilating himself into the locker room and adopting the AEW style perfectly. It's like, and he's had a really good run up until his injury, right? The cage match with Gangrel, what was it? It was against Malachi Black, right? That was the only true misstep. And it's forgivable. The Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate. I was like, Bobby Lashley, man, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. I'm not sure. Guy never drew a dime. What are we doing here? And they bring them in, all three of them, and it's like it's been tremendous. Like, it's been objectively tremendous. So maybe they got the magic touch here, and Speedball is going to find the identity that's going to make him rise to the top. But look, this guy he's not world championship material, and that's fine. And maybe you just want a good, solid mid-card worker too. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You need guys who's like, your ceiling is clear, brother. You know, your ceiling is clear. As long as he stays with that, like I said, like that awkward energy, Speedball is never going to be a top guy. He's never like a top guy. Never. But, you know, maybe something will unlock. Maybe he'll just get like the ka-ching. I mean, he's a good match guy. That's the point, right? He can be a good match guy, good mid-carder, and that's not an issue, right? Hell, I'm even thinking right now, AR Fox versus Bailey, right? Nice little mid-card entertainment match, and you got yourself something fun to watch on a Saturday night, right? If you put that on Collision. Like, that's a perfect Collision match, right? Or a Shockwave match. I don't know what, you know, depends on what they're doing once they dump Rampage, but, you know, like, there's no shortage of good opponents for Mike Bailey, right? But there's no shortage of good wrestlers for Mike Bailey. I'm just afraid Mike Bailey is not going to get himself over like people think he's going to get himself over. Then again, I could be wrong. It's if his work can look, it'll depend on the direction of the promotion. Because if, like I said, if this was 2022, if this was 2022 AEW, where everyone is wrestling like it's the last night on earth, and we're having extremely explosive dynamites week after week after week, pun intended, then yeah, there's a spot for him there. In this AEW, I don't know. I mean, he's going to be better used than if he went to the Fed. That is, you know, unquestionable. I don't think anyone is doubting that, right? Is anyone doubting this? Look, I wish him nothing but the best. He's, you know, a gentleman. DGMC is here. He's also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Can't wait for the Mike Bailey foot fetishist gimmick. Okay. Nice to have you. I got a lot of egg on my face. I've been eating some crow. That's fine, right? I own up, you know, I own up to my mistakes, and I will beat the allegations. Never forget that. Silver Apocalypse says I could see international title, TNT title, tag title, trios title. Sure. There's a plethora of, look, if they're bringing him in on, you know what would be fun though? Like legitimately, you know, okay, here's a way he might get himself over. He's released from his, I'm doing fantasy booking here, folks, like, but he's released just in time for the Continental Classic. And you don't announce his signing before the Continental Classic, and then he's in one of the groups. Like he's in Group B. You're like, holy shit, it's Mike Bailey. And Mike Bailey, that's the environment in which Mike Bailey could get himself over. Straight up wrestling matches, no fucking nonsense. That's the environment he can get himself over. So if Tony Khan is smart and wants to get him over, I think that's actually the best place to do it. Put him in the C2. I bet you Mike Bailey and Lee Johnson would have a barn burner. Absolutely. And Kyle Riley, yeah, kicking the shit out of each other. There's no lack of bad opponents for him. Speedball versus Hologram is another good one. He should find a tag partner named 8-Ball and he could be managed by someone with Highball. Thank you for your contribution, Obscurity Dogs. Could Veda be his manager? I'm going to give you a hot take here. I'm not a fan of Veda Scott. I think she's better than she was on the commentary thing. I think she started off really strong. And then at some point she got someone in her ear and she started to get tips and she started to apply those tips. And then she just became a screeching mess. Right? I'm like, oh my God, not Veda Scott. What was the show recently? There was a New Japan show not that long ago. I think she was with Riccoboni. It was this year. And at some point, the audio, in mid-match, the audio gets killed, right? The audio dies. And I'm like, oh, so nice. Like you can just hear the crowd, the wrestlers, the bumps, but you can't hear commentary anymore. And I'm like, sweet, sweet silence. So look, you're talking to the wrong guy when it comes to Veda Scott. I think she's fine. I think she's better. She sort of abandoned a lot of the screeching she used to do when she was doing a lot of regular commentating on the West Coast and some GCW throughout, you know. There she was really, and it was like, oh my God, like pipe down. It's too much all the time. I don't know. I wouldn't put her. I wouldn't bring them in as a package deal, you know. It's crazy how I believe Speedball was destined to be Impact's next top guy during that renaissance under D'Amore. Well, I would say Scott D'Amore really liked them. Sure. Warren won the Jade Cargill War. That guy was out on Jade since day one and he was right. Thank you for remembering, Evan. Thank you. That makes me happy. Thank you for remembering that. I was out on her on day one. If he goes to the Fed, he could be the speed champ. Perfect for the gimmick. That's right. See? Would have been a complete shoo-in. And then on top of that, right? You had Ricochet Ricochet was defending the speed title, right? Once he left. Said, hey, a championship. Yeah, but no. Yes, but also no. Breaking news. MrWarrenHayes claims that Veda Scott is the Jim Ross of the modern era, claims that even when the audio goes out for commentary is to die for. No, that's not, no. DGMC left a super chat. Thank you so much, DGMC. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chat so much. But now I have to read it. This is another LOL TNA moment, right? In a perfect world, Bailey should be their top guy. Know something nice about Speedball's feet and go. Yeah, no, I think under D'Amore his ceiling was higher. I like he's like he is a perfect TNA guy, like perfect. You know, I really do think he had a higher ceiling with D'Amore. I really do. That's the big news about Speedball, Mike Bailey. YouTube is going berserk. Chat keeps disconnecting. I haven't seen anything happen on that end. Jordan Grace, Josh Alexander leaving in December, January 2. Where do we think Josh Alexander is going to end up? Good question. Ponder that question as I go get myself some more water. I'll be really right back. Hang in tight there. I'm back. Yes, Josh Alexander to TJPW. That's the strat right there. Let's see. Soaked up a lot of time tonight. We did read, did do a lot of reading, a lot of research tonight. That's fun, but we're not done. We're not done. And put a like on this stream if you haven't already. You freeloaders. Earlier today, it was revealed that AEW AEW had canceled its show, its AEW Collision show that was scheduled for December, early December. That would be, let me see my calendar here. That would be the 7th, I believe. The AEW had decided to cancel the show out of the nationwide arena, and instead they're moving the December show to GalaxyCon. Isn't that interesting? Let's read this little article off the Figure 4 online. AEW is moving venues but remaining in the same city for their Saturday, December 7 edition of Collision. That rhymes. Announced on Thursday by the promotion, that night's Collision will be moving from the 20,000-seat nationwide arena in Columbus, Ohio, to the Greater Columbus Convention Center as part of the GalaxyCon convention, which is being held in the city. Tickets will go on sale this Saturday, and capacity for the specific setup they will use at the 1.8 million square foot facility is unknown. It says it's also, but then it's cut off. So that's censorship. Is that what that is? AEW has earlier in the day, the nationwide arena announced that Collision was canceled with no further information. It's unknown why the move was made and if ticket sales had something to do with it. Any tickets purchased for the original venue will be refunded. It's unknown why the move was made and if the ticket sales had something to do with it. I want to speculate on this for a second. According to the WrestleTix, who updated the last update for the nationwide arena show for the Collision. The last update that we had for that was on November 6th. So last week, today's the 14th. So last week on the 6th. The last update we had 1,032 tickets distributed. A show that was 4 weeks away and that has a capacity of 20,000 humans. I want to speculate, okay? I am not a wrestling business insider. I am not the WrestleNomics. I am not Mookie Ghana. I'm just a guy who keeps track of these things, who has some thoughts about AEW attendance and has covered it as a regular feature here. I would say that, yes, ticket sales absolutely had something to do with it. I would even say it is the primary driver as to why they decided to cut the cord on this show. I don't know who in this company decided to go to the Nationwide Arena in the first place. Who in 2024 pulled up the books and was like, yep, Nationwide Arena, that makes sense, when they can barely get 3,500 people into a weekly taping for Dynamite. It's not as good for Collision. This was a disaster waiting to happen, and thankfully, someone was like, yep, you know what? We should not do this. Probably not a good idea. We shouldn't do this. And, you know, whichever cooler minds prevailed here, I think should get a raise. Whoever needed convincing not to go there should get a raise. You have imagined 1,000 people in a 20,000. I mean, they probably would have sold a little more, but what would have been the cap on this? 2,500? Knowing like how AEW ticket booking patterns go, sales tickets go, ticket sales go. Christ, 2,500, 2,700. I don't think they would have cracked 3,000 for the show. That would have been a disaster. Where do the Blue Jackets play? That's right, Nationwide Arena. That's just insane. It's I don't know who decided to go there in the first place, but it was a bad idea. Like, that's all there is to it. It was just a bad idea. AEW has minimal December TV dates announced for the final month of the year, with just 4 events on the schedule through Saturday, December 12th, leaving the week of December 16th and December 23rd in question. Oh, well, they have to check when Dax Harwood wants time off for the holidays to spend with his family. Jokes. As of now, there are no TV dates announced for 2025. They're probably in some kind of wait and see mode. I don't know. But look, I mean, I don't know. To me, there's no surprise here. And in fact, this is the wisest decision. This is the best decision. Anyone who's surprised about this should listen to the MrWarrenHayes show more. Particularly the AEW Dynamite reviews. That way you'd know. Oh no, this is kind of how it goes recently, right? And in case you don't watch the Dynamite reviews, this is basically the gist of it. As far as attendance goes, pay-per-view attendance is good. Some circumstances strong, but overall good, very good. TV taping the week to week, not good. And you don't sugarcoat it. You can put as many spins you want on it. You can say whatever, you can talk about whatever sporting event was going on or that was in town, or, you know, the weather, whatever the fuck. It's not good. It's not good across the board, and it's a trend. If it was just one or two times, no, it's a disaster. It's not good. But like I like to say too, just like I used to say back when WWE was not having great attendance records, 2017, not even records, just attendance, you know, back when I was, you know, when I had a microphone, 2019, and even before that, you could observe it, 2017, 18. When the house show business was bad and the tapings, there were a lot of people, but still, you know, wasn't filling out the arenas and it wasn't looking good. You know, there was a lot of stuff being tarped off. I have to apply the same logic here that I applied over there. Maybe they don't give a shit. Maybe they don't care. Now that they have a media deal that pays them millions of dollars, like that's how you do business. That's how the wrestling business works in 2024. Attendance is a nice little bonus, but basically the TV deal is what ensures your profitability. That's how the business works. And WWE had really good TV deals back in the day. And that's why we were all sitting around shrugging and we were going like, well, I mean, maybe they don't care that their attendance is not as great because they have the money already. They've already cashed it in. It's fine. And it's the same thing with AEW. At some point I have to wonder, are we nerds the only people who really care about the attendance? Because the attendance in the United States, again, like I've pointed out in the past, is not as important as it is in Japan. In Japan, it is still the attendance that is the lifeblood of your company. That's different. There are no media deals. There are no TV deals in Japan. Not in the same way that we have them in North America. So when we talk about attendance for Japanese shows, that has a much clearer and direct effect on their business because that's just how it goes. Because that's their major source of revenue is gate. It's live attendance. When it comes to AEW and WWE, it's not, it's not their major source of income. Not the major. It is a significant one. Don't get me wrong. But once you have a media deal, it's not sink or swim anymore. So, look, it's kind of like when I posted about it earlier today. Was the 1,032 reportedly distributed tickets for the December 7th show at the Nationwide Arena good? No, that was not good. Was the cancellation of the event at the Nationwide Arena a good thing? Yes, it is a good thing. Is AEW struggling getting people to attend their live TV tapings? Yes, they are. Like, these are all just realities. I think that we should just I don't think this is major news. I think this is a sound business decision. It shouldn't have been done in the first place, but it is a sound business decision, and I'm okay with it. I'm just ready to move on. Has it really been on everyone's mind? Dominated your feed all day? I mean, it's AEW, right? The grift never stops, really. I'm really worried about the Australia Grand Slam show. Yeah, it is not doing great, is it? It's not, it's crazy, right? That a wrestling show that has that had up until recently, like absolutely no coverage Like no broadcast. Did they start the with the ESPN in I can't remember. They're being no, it's not ESPN. It's or is it ESPN? Yeah, it's or was it? No, the it's ESPN in Australia and Fox Sports in Mexico, right? Yeah, they started in September 2024. They started in September 2024. So it's crazy, right? Like something that didn't have any TV coverage at all, just suddenly out of nowhere, you know, you go and you drop a stadium show and oh, oddly enough, it's not selling too well. Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of weird. Bigman Dogs, nice to see you. Bigman. I think I was going to call you that. No, instead of Big Man, I was going to call you Bigman. Kind of like the Hangman, like what Jim Ross did that one time. Yeah, that we're going to call you the Bigman Dogs. Let's go take a look. Let's pull up the old WrestleTix here. And if I just pull up Australia, will that do anything? WWE announces no. So how about AEW Grand Slam? No, these are final counts. Is WrestleTix even tracking this? I think he is, right? Dynamite, Collision, Arthur Ashe. Yeah, these are all older. What would be the good search terms then? I was convinced that he was tracking it. Yes, you know, it's but also to be fair, like the Patreon search engine is not great. But it seems to me I had seen Australia Grand Slam ticket sales. Well, we're probably just gonna get. What if we do WrestleTix maybe? This is probably not the. Yeah, see, that's still in New York. Come on, move back one. Grand Slam, Australia. What is right here? Does anyone know? Oh, this is what I saw. Okay, the map. This is what I saw. This is what I saw. The map is open to public viewing. It does not look good so far due to the size of the stadium. They were running an arena. It looked promising. That's frighteningly bad. Let's take a look. I should do more of this. I should do more research on stream like this, right? I like this. I don't know if you guys and gals, non-binary pals, like it, but I do. I enjoy this. So I'm assuming that what is blue is available and what is gray is sold out or unavailable at the very least. Because, you know, would they have sold out all of this before the lower bowls? What does that look like? So we click on 321 here. Come on, baby. How does this work? How does this work? 309. I mean, the blue is filled out, sold out. Like nothing's working. What the fuck is this? The fuck is this map? Or do you just zoom in on it? I think that's it, right? Oh, fuck me. Okay. Wow, this is really fucking annoying. Okay, this isn't so bad now. Yeah, I mean, this section's sold out. I mean, it's not doing terrible, but Wait, this is all sold out here, right? Except for a few tickets here. This, right? Y'all are. This is actually really good. No? Like, or at least it's not a disaster. I mean, you don't want an empty arena, stadium, right? But I'm assuming these are all secondary. These are all like the blue here are probably available. This is an accessible seat. Oh, these are the, okay. So these are the, okay. These are the accessible seats. Okay. What are the orange? What are the orange? Are they like secondary market? Wonder what those are. I mean, and what's the yellow? A reserve. I don't know what that means. B reserve. I don't know what that means. They just like higher tier priced. Yeah, these are premium seats, the green ones. Look, it doesn't look great, but it's, you know, that one Redditor who said it was a disaster is probably, I don't think it's that bad. That's frighteningly bad. Maybe it was worse a month ago, though. Let's be real. Meltzer said later things were not looking good. No idea where his info came from, but it's early. He said the same thing about Arlington residency, and they ended up selling out all but one show there. Look, anyway, I don't think this is frighteningly bad. Maybe it was bad a month ago. Let's be honest. Maybe it was bad about a month ago. Yeah, I mean, look, we saw more talk about the Arlington Grand Slam show than we've been seeing more of that over the past couple of weeks than we have the Australia show. And the Australia show is happening like sooner, right? It's this winter, as opposed to the Arlington show, which is like in August. The Grand Slam Australia show is like it's in February or something, right? Yeah, Saturday, February 15, 2025. In Brisbane. So, yeah. We'll keep seeing how it goes. We'll keep an eye on that. I mean, Toni Storm is she's not Australian, or no, she's from New Zealand, right? She's from New Zealand. No, they bill her from Gold Coast, Australia, right? Now this is what they're doing. They're stretching out the Mariah May thing to put this to put Toni winning her title back on that show. That's what they're doing here. Like that, you don't need a genius to figure that one out. Because here's the other thing: is like this is like this is also always the issue when you get to. This is also the issue when you get into problems with when you want to promote the show, but you don't want to give away like who's going to be headlining and for what and so on and so forth, because otherwise you're giving away results beforehand. Like it's like Kensuke Takeshita being on Wrestle Kingdom and then fighting Shingo, and then the next day against Tomohiro Ishii, likely on Wrestle Dynasty the next day. I mean, I don't think he's been announced for Wrestle Dynasty, but you're still getting Kensuke Takeshita both nights, so he's likely not losing against Shingo Takagi the night before, right? So there you go. I'm seeing something weird in one of my haunts here. I think I'm just gonna pull it all the way up. Apparently, El Desperado's being canceled. What's wrong with Despy? I've decided to post this as a matter of informing English-speaking fans who might not know. This September, New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler El Desperado has expressed his political views on LGBTQ plus rights in Japan by way of repeatedly posting tweets by a conservative gay political pundit on his official X Twitter. Okay. What is this person? I can't read Japanese. I don't know what's being said here. What's being said? What's being said here? Like, didn't he? This is weird. Like, didn't he post something about being supportive about gay people having like a parade or something in Mexico, something to that effect? Didn't he do that too? What is this? I don't understand this, but my chat is like, I'd like to know what this guy's saying. That and should I mean, I can't seek out the tweet because Twitter doesn't work that way anymore. But I'd hit the translate button on this. Like, why couldn't this person have like fucking just done some due diligence and post, at least a machine translation to this, right? You're gonna try and translate the tweet? Because it's more like it's not even, it's just a picture. Like, this could be bullshit. Like, the point is that it could potentially be bullshit. But I'm convinced I've seen tweets of Despe being supportive to gays too. But I mean, hey, listen, a conservative a Japanese pro wrestler having being conservatively politically minded should not come to the shock of anyone. It should not come to the surprise of anyone at all. Is there anyone on Blue Sky talking about this? Twitter is fucking sucks, dude. Sucks. Let me see here. I just punch in El Desperado. Latest. El Desperado being a homophobe was definitely not on my list to find out today. El Desperado is a homophobe. See, this is the thing. It's like El Desperado is a right-wing dickhead. One tweet he reposted expressed. Okay, let me put this on the streamer side of things. Come on, you can do it. Why is it not working? Elegant, but it still works. One tweet he reposted expressed fear of an increase in sexual crimes and the need to protect oneself and one's children as a result of Japanese law getting less restrictive with regards to LGBT plus people, as well as worry about forced diversity. These retweets are his only comment on the matter. So he said, look, this person here says one tweet he reposted was about this, and then suddenly it's these retweets are his only comment. How does any of this make sense? Translation is too long to post, but it seems to be some conservative take. I've seen a lot of people assume wrestlers' stances on things based on the things they do and say in the ring, so I figured it would be in the public interest to clear this up. I will not comment further on this information or how you should react. Okay. Lastly, because this is already spread to other platforms and some people doubted the authenticity. Yes, this really happened and I'm not editing images. And then they do the video to show that it's real. I just want to get some translations. This person seems to believe that everyone can read this block of text or can press play on this and understand what this person is saying. And unfortunately, I cannot. And Japanese is also a very fucking complex language. You know, and if you're just doing Google Translates on them, then, you know, if you're just doing Google Translates to try and figure it out, it's not good enough to run around starting accusing people of being a homophobe. You know, look, would I be surprised that a professional wrestler would have conservative viewpoints on LGBTQ plus people? No, not in the slightest. Especially a Japanese one. Yeah, and the pundit himself is gay, but I mean, look, there are gay conservative pundits who have weird self-loathing takes. There used to be a radio host here a conservative radio host here in Quebec City who was kind of weird like that. It was very popular, but it was also very weird about certain things. Well, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. That sounds very weird. But look, I'll try to follow up on this, right? I'll do my best to follow up on it. All right. A weird little statement. Okay. Should we, since we're on the topic of New Japan, how about we do a quick preview of the historic crossover show? It's happening this weekend, folks. It's on the pay-per-view. Okay, the vibe the tweet got from me was like center right. The woke mob has gone too far, but I'll wait for more info before making assumptions here. Me too. I think we're very quick. You know, I think one of the issues is that the far left is also kind of, you know, and I'm not talking like the left in general. I'm talking like the far left are usually very entrenched in their positions as well, and that's why it makes them far left, just like there's far right, right? So sometimes, you know, you'll say something that might just ask a question, be a little more balanced, you know, and then suddenly it'll be like homophobia, transphobia. Like, I'm very sensitive to that, so I'm very sensitive to that, and I talk tons about this kind of shit with my kid. was like, yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just, I agree. Like, this is all very weird. This sounds very reactionary and stupid. And well, maybe not stupid, but it seems very reactionary. How about that? Anyway, this is happening this weekend, the historic crossover. We'll just take a look quick at the card. Osaka, Japan, at the old Prefectural Gymnasium. We've got ourselves a pre-show match to kick things off. Hanako and Aya Sakura versus Rana Yagami and Sayaka Kurara. Not familiar with most of the people being enumerated here. Show's going to open up with Tom Nakano and Saori Anu versus Shuri and Tomoaka Inaba. Love me some Shuri. Then we have the Neo Genesis people. Mei Sara, Izumi, and Miyu Amasaki taking on the Hate group of Konami, Rina, and Ruaka. We had found out what Hate stands for, right? But I don't remember. But we had found out what it stands for. Maybe they added it to the Wikipedia page? But oh shit, there was a stream we figured it out. Someone had figured it out for us, I should say. I don't remember. It's all right. It's all right. Toriyano, Tiger Mask, and Bolton Oleg versus Jeff Cobb, Callum Newman, and Francesco Akira in a trios match. Sounds like things might go to the United Empire way here. Hanan and Saya Ida alongside Hiroshi Tanahashi and Ryusuke Taguchi versus Natsuko Tora and Saya Kamitani and Drilla Maloney and Gabe Kidd. This is kind of wild, actually. I'm pretty excited to see how Gabe Kidd is gonna act in this type of situation. Like, you know, and Drilla fucking rules. Okay. This has my attention. All right, so these are the warm-up matches. Now on to the business side of things. Great-O-Khan versus Suzu Suzuki for the KOPW Championship. Now, if I am not mistaken, the Hate. Okay, that's where I think it came from, right? Let me go. Let me pull this up in the old studio here for a second. Let me see here on the Capital Collision review. Collision 2024 review. Let's take a look at the comments. The meaning of hate, the H-A-T-E, you are correct, that guy. It's harass, abuse, terrorize, and eradicate, which is actually pretty dope. Harass, abuse, terrorize, eradicate. That's kind of uncompromising. That's kind of uncompromising. I don't hate it. I'm into it, kind of thing. It's also very Japanese. I like it. So yes, go Great-O-Khan and Suzuki. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this going to be the first intergender match in the history of professional wrestling? Oh, and you were saying it too, Kristen. I'm sorry. I had already switched windows at that point. Sorry. So I believe this is the very first intergender match in New Japan history, right? It has to be. Because of all the politics with the promotions and whatnot. This has got to be it, right? So the question here, of course, is, does Suzu Suzuki, who rules, don't get me wrong, Is she going to beat Great O'Khan for the title? Now, there's the difference between is it going to happen and should it happen? I think it should. And I'll tell you why it should. Because who gives a fuck about the King of Pro Wrestling Championship? Like, the rural revitalization things that Great O'Khan was doing, bless his heart, he was trying to make it interesting. But, I don't want to watch Great O'Khan eat lemons for like 3 minutes straight anymore. Like whole fucking lemons. I don't want to see that shit anymore. Like, if anything, this would be interesting, right? This would be interesting. Here's what would make it even more interesting. Look, if New Japan really wanted to go bold on this, like I mean bold, okay? You think back to what Hiroshi Tanahashi was saying a few months ago when he was talking about his 10-point plan, right? Which we should revise at some point. We should get the 10-point plan back and break it down and see how things are going with old President Tanahashi here. And he was saying in one of his points, I do remember, it's like, well, New Japan has a lot of titles, and I feel like and I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect that I feel like a lot of people don't know what the titles stand for, and we need to confirm their identity in the minds of pro wrestling fans, right? And I'm like, okay. That's it. Oh, China probably would have had intergender matches. I keep forgetting about the China New Japan run. Yeah, you're right. I'm just thinking about that. And what would be an interesting thing to do with the KOPW title? What if it kind of became an intergender title? What if, once in a while this title was pulled out and, one guy from New Japan versus one girl from Stardom, and they have themselves a match. Why not? I mean, like, do whatever you want with it. Just give it some kind of personality. Give it something to do, a reason to exist. I think this would be the closest, right? It'd be the closest, most interesting thing. And then you call it the Queen of Pro Wrestling title. Oh. See, it all falls into place. It all makes too much sense. The high schoolers are gone, Will? Did the 50 high schoolers leave? What did I say? In Japan. Yes, in Japan. In Japan. In Japan. In Japan. Props for surviving. Taichi and Natsupoi versus Clark Connors and Tekla. Taichi still hanging around Milt tier, but teaming with the other girl this time around. Because he had teamed with Tom at the first crossover event. And now we got Clark Connors and Tekla. Yeah, I'm into this. Should be fun. I like Taichi. I think he's great. Clark Connors is fine. I like Natsupoi. Tekla's good. Sounds like a solid time. Mayu Iwatani versus Momo Watanabe for the IWGP Women's Championship. Let's be frank here. Who cares about the IWGP Women's Championship? Like, it's, and I don't mean this in a general sense. It's just like the way this thing has been handled. It's like an afterthought. Like, who really cares? Like, get me invested in the belt by having the woman who's holding the belt actually fucking defend it on shows. You know? She's the IWGP Women's Champion. The IWGP is the governing body of New Japan. New Japan runs fucking shows all the fucking time. Well, then let's have it then. I want to make this clear. It's not about the title itself. I'm fine with it. I think it's a good idea, and it's a sign that New Japan wants to keep up with the times, right? I think that's fine. Don't get me wrong. But fucking do something with the title. And especially when you have someone like Mayu who is beloved. She's, people like her. Let's go see this. Let's pull up the cage match again. We'll go directly to the titles. And look, did you know that Mayu has had this title for 572 days? I would say no, you didn't. How many defenses has she had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. What am I counting for? No, she's had 7 defenses. The last time it was defended on a New Japan show was at the New Beginning in Sapporo against Mina. I mean, can we do something with this? Like, this isn't exactly exciting either. 5 defenses. Most of them in Stardom. 1 in Ice Ribbon. Let's be real. Like, it's not the most compelling title that they have. And that's not on Mayu. It's not on the title. It's on the IWGP committee, who is not booking the title into anything interesting. Now, she's going up against Momo, who is a Class A heel. She is part of the Hate stable. She likes to harass and abuse and terrorize and then exterminate. So, and I mean, these two have fought how many times overall before in singles matches? Like, I mean, this should be fine. This should be a fine match. Should be pretty good, actually. But it's funny. I want to care about the title. I want to care about the title. That has to make me care. That's on them. And then Zack Sabre Jr. and Micah, fuck yeah, Micah, versus El Desperado and the Starlight Kid. We're back. We got the scumbags back together again. Although they're not quite as scumbaggy as they were 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, even Starlight Kid has softened up a little bit, hasn't she? I'm not saying she's a baby face, but she's not as much of a little rat fink as she was like 2 years ago. Same thing with Despy. But this tag team has remained like stuck in the minds of pro wrestling fans. And I remember, when Despe was doing a lot of these JTO runs where he was running death matches quite a bit in JTO. He was on camera at some point saying, "Yeah, we got to bring the Starlight Kid in here at one point." And I'm like, "Holy shit, let's go!" That's right. Oh, so Starlight is a babyface now. So you see, like they're not the lovable scumbags that they used to be. Not on the same level that they were 2 years ago. I didn't know Starlight was back to being a babyface. But it's still a compelling team, don't get me wrong. And Zack Sabre Jr. and Micah, let the top, the cream of the crop. Yeah, this should be fun. It's a nice little card. I'm interested. I like this stuff. I like New Japan and Stardom getting some synergy going. The only question I have, well, not the question, but you know, the issue that I have is that this is a pay-per-view. You know, it's something, it's like 35 bucks. It's $35 or something like that. It's like 35. And I'm pretty sure the original crossover event wasn't that expensive. Wasn't even that bad. Like 20 bucks, I think, or something like that. This is 35. Like 35, you have to start laying down. You have to start laying down the big dogs here. Bringing in the big dogs, actually. I mean, it's a nice little card. Don't get me wrong, but is this a $35 pay-per-view card? Like, there's some matches I'm interested in, but look, the thing. What am I complaining about? I'm gonna pay the money. I'm gonna watch it. What am I even bitching about? I'm paying the money and I'm watching it. So what am I saying? What am I doing here? What are we doing here? Mayu and Cerise match is free on Stardom's YouTube now. Oh, well, that's something that I'm going to check out. Historic crossover show. Literally the greatest wrestler of all. Literally has the greatest wrestler of all time. Warren, there isn't any star power on this card. Who is the greatest wrestler of all time who's on this card? Hiroshi Tanahashi? He's broken down now. He doesn't go anymore. What are we talking about? Mayu? You're probably talking about Mayu, right? Knowing you, that guy. Yeah, there you go. Like I was saying, you need a little more oomph on this card. I'll be curious to see the attendance, right? Maybe this is like the perfect drawing, the perfect card to draw the New Japan fans into the old Osaka Prefectural Gymnasium, and the Stardom fans too, right? Everyone's invited. Maybe maybe this is like perfectly set for them, and maybe the match is just going to turn out, and I'm going to sit there and be like, this was great. I'm just saying, as far as the build goes, I'm like, well, the Great Okan Suzuki is the stuff that's been captivating. Has been captivating attention more than anything else, right? People will have to watch the show from out of the building because they won't have enough tickets to sell. Like at the old Yankee Stadium, when they stand at the fence and have they stand behind the fence out of center field, and they'd hoist each other on their shoulders to watch the game. Is that what we're talking about? That's exactly what it's going to be. That's exactly what it's going to be. I didn't fall for the rage bait. Yeah, this guy here, he's a smart one. That guy, that guy. He's a smart one. He picks up on things. He's, you can't pull the wool over his eyes. Please check DMs. Breaking news about the Costco guys. Oh, my, for fuck's sake. All right, look, we're going in blind. I already hate it. I already hate it. Okay, we're being clear here. Oh my God, this kid's voice, brother. I heard they were on a rather big podcast today or yesterday and promoted their AEW appearance. Oh, good grief. What a way to end the stream. Look at all this fucking merch they have. They're so annoying. Oh, they're so cringe, dude.
Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite. Boom! It's me, Mama Justice. Big Boom AJ is all elite. Boom!
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Do we have new lore? Who's this guy? Do we have new lore? Is this new lore? Who's this guy? Is he the chick's the daughter's boyfriend? Is this the lore? Who's this guy? Do we is new Costco guy lore dropping? What a conventionally handsome looking guy. Some rando that's also big on TikTok. They cycle him in and out. Oh, he's just he's just another TikToker. He's not in the lore. Okay.
Big Boom AJ.
What the fuck is this? No, I don't like it. They're introducing too many characters. They're introducing too many characters all at once. Who the fuck is this guy? Who's this dude? Like Dollar Store Timothy Chalamet. Who the fuck is this? I don't like this.
AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Who's this guy? He looks like that one. He looks like fucking the ref. He looks like the Ring of Honor ref who's now on AEW. You know oh shit. This guy is Cousin Angelo. This guy's in the lore. Oh yeah, he has a T-shirt. Is he in the lore? Cousin Angelo, is he in the lore? Is he really like a cousin? Yes, I'm thinking of Paul Turner. He looks like Paul Turner. Tell me this kid doesn't look like Paul Turner. He looks exactly like Paul Turner. Cousin Angelo.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Who's this James Spader guy? Who's this guy? What's it? Heritage Surf and okay, it's just like there's too many new characters. There's too many new characters for this nonsense. How do people think this? Why does anyone think this is entertaining? People standing in front of and you see all the setup here. You see the setup all here. You know, the phone, and he's got the little little pickups here for the audio, and Big AJ is down elite. And they all say the same thing over and over again, like we're fucking watching Teletubbies. Jesus Christ.
Boom! Big Boom AJ is
What is this? Who is this guy? Who's this fucking like Mark Wahlberg wannabe?
It's all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Big Boom AJ is all elite. How you doing?
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
The fuck? Oh, wait, so who's this? Who's this? Another 50-year-old hanging out with teenagers. What the fuck is this? Who's this guy? The Rizzler? And they've got the with the Godfather logo? What the hell is what is this? This is the Rizzler's dad? Oh, they finally decided to put the Rizzler's dad on TV. He was fucking like, look, you put me on your TikToks or I'm telling or my kid is not gonna play with your kid anymore. The Rizzler's like 8. This is disturbing. Oh my God. There's so many new characters in this shit.
Big Boom AJ is all elite. Boom!
Big Boom AJ is
No! No!
Big Boom
That's a trap.
AJ is all elite.
Who's this guy? Look, he looks like a guy who did a WWE tryout. You know, he looks like he's like a Ridge Holland. You know, he basically he's like another Ridge Holland. He looks like he's a guy who's about to go try out for WWE because, you know, all right, look handsome and I'm buff, you know, kind of thing.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Big Boom AJ is all.
It's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. There were 4 people for a time, you know, in the AJ verse. Now there's all these people. There's just all these people.
All elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Okay, that would be me, quite frankly. Like, this guy's arms are crossed. He like, this would be me. Arms crossed. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. You know, I'm being coerced into doing it. I don't want to do it. These are hostage videos. Like, this guy, it's like, blink twice, buddy.
That's right. Big Boom AJ is all elite. I've been waiting a real long time to get back in the ring, and I'm happy AEW is giving me the chance. So now, with the Costco verse behind me, I'm coming to bring the boom!
The what? Please, God, no. There's too many people now. When he calls it the Costco verse, it does feel like fucking Marvel Avengers Endgame, where it's like all these people.
Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite.
This kid is like 8 years old. He should not be doing this. He should not be doing this. Yeah, where's Stan Hansen when you need him to run in and send like a hangman. Send the hangman at this point. Send Stalker Ishikawa.
Big Boom AJ's all elite. Boom! It's me, Mama Justice. Big Boom AJ is all elite. Boom!
Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big
Paul
Boom
Turner.
AJ is all elite. Boom! Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Big Boom AJ is all elite. How you doing?
I don't like this guy. I really do not like this guy. This guy has all the vibes that I just loathe.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Poor Santa. Poor Santa.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Big Boom AJ is all elite.
Matt's Warner's looking real skinny these days.
Big Boom AJ is all elite. Big Boom AJ is all elite. That's right. Big Boom AJ is all elite. I've been waiting a real long time to get back in the ring, and I'm happy AEW is giving me the chance. So now, with the Costco verse behind me, I'm coming to bring the
There's
boom!
too many people now. There's too many people. We're reaching a point of saturation. The black hat guy and gray guy shirt back to back is pretty good. Yes. There's too many people. Like, this is not fun anymore. Like, see, that's the thing. But this guy's getting his. I'm not watching it again. We're done. We're done. See, Big Boom AJ is getting exactly what he's wanted. He wanted to be a media star. He wanted to be a social media star. He did we had found out that he did like vlogs, like family vlogs when the kid was Big Justice, right? When he was literally a baby, like literally a baby that you carry around. And he was going around in a supermarket or whatever and filming himself, like buying meat and bullshit, you know? So he wanted to do family vlogs to get himself over. And then he did, then later on, someone discovered that he also did a podcast, but for guys, you know, where we talk about guys stuff, whatever guys, cars, women, guns, one of these fucking red pill nonsense. And that, of course, didn't work out because it was a dime a dozen, right? And so now he went back to doing things with this kid, and it would have remained, I think it would have remained really wholesome if it had stayed just him and his kid just going around. We're Costco guys. We're Costco guys. Look at this. We can sit in the furniture because we're Costco guys. Hey, look, we can take a free sample of this because we're Costco guys. Like, I think that would have remained nice, but then it becomes bigger and bigger. And this is what this dude wants, right? This is exactly what the dude wants. He just wants to get himself over. He got himself over, and now it's just like a machine. Like, it's crazy. The Costco guys are a machine. But, you know, look, I'm still curious to see how this cycle is going to end up, right? I know people have been trying to cancel him. They made up this stuff about him. We watched the video, right? Didn't we watch the TikTok of him being aggressive during a shoot with some other prank TikToker or whatever the fuck? And people are saying, "Oh, he's being so aggressive." And I was like, "No, not really. He's not really being aggressive. It's fine. It's okay." But this is too much, man. This is I can't. This is not for me. This is not for me. And the thing is that I hippity hope that this turns into pay-per-view buys for AEW come full gear. I'm pretty sure the free full gear stream on YouTube is going to get lots of the views, but I really, truly, sincerely hope that it converts into money for AEW. I still, yeah. He's so much better than Logan Paul already. Look, thing is, you all know in your deepest, darkest heart, the deepest, darkest regions of your heart, if Logan Paul focused exclusively on being a pro wrestler, he'd probably be one of the greatest. He's very, 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 very good at pro wrestling. I can't stand the guy. I really, really don't like the guy. On a whole other level than Big Boom AJ. Big Boom AJ I don't like, mostly because he annoys me and I think he's cringe, which is ultimately inoffensive. It's just something that affronts my sensibilities. Logan Paul I think is a piece of shit. That's a whole other that's a whole other level of dislike. You know, he's just observably very good at pro wrestling. So, you know, let's see what Big Boom AJ is gonna do. But he's gonna spend so much time in the ring doing this little stupid gimmick, you know, where he's gonna do this dance here. And TikTok is such brain rot. Like, TikTok is legitimately just fucking brain rot. There's this one girl who does like she does like creepy video game, like FMV style video game things where she's like this weird video game character that's trying to find ways to kill you, and she distorts her voice and it's all super pixelated, and I can't remember, I think it's Moon creature, it's Moon something. And I like her. I think her because it's creative and it's not just fucking people saying the same old thing over and over again like we're fucking 3 years old watching fucking Teletubbies. But TikTok is brain rot. There's no way to go about it. There's no other way to talk about it. It's just fucking brain rot. There we go. Gosh darn it, everyone. Thank you for coming. Good crowd tonight. This was a good stream, right? I thought this was a good stream. I thought this was very good. It was feeling good. I felt good. I think we did some good stuff tonight. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I was fishing for compliments. Thank you for feeding me. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Weekend is just on our doors. Awesome stream, learned some stuff and laughed a bit. What more do you want? Isn't that what you should get from all of your live streaming? You know, learn some things, you know, an awesome time, learn some things, laughed a bit. That's all you really need. That's all you need. I think those are the hallmarks of a successful stream right there. I'll be back Monday. We'll do this again Monday. That'll be fun. Could have used some snacks. I agree. Once I get the snack sponsorship, man, mail out snacks to all sorts of people. Once the snack sponsorship money starts rolling in. What's the thing that's going around? No, it's not snacks. It's factory, right? Factory. That's the one that everyone that all the YouTubers are pushing these days. Factory, right? Those ready-made meals that are apparently like really good for you and with a bottle of Soylent Green to go along with it, right? Factory. That's the one. I could go for a factory sponsorship. I'd go for some free meals. Send me a box. I'd give it a whirl. You know. Or we could get an Nabisco sponsorship, which is really good, because then we could get like we could get cookies. We could get like the Chips Ahoy. But is it Christy? But is Christy Nabisco? I don't know anymore. You gonna get me the Napster sponsorship? That'd be perfect in the wrestling in the Windows 95 universe. That'd be terrific. Napster or LimeWire, either or. I'm just stretching out the finish here, but no, it was a good time. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for liking the stream. That was tremendous as well. I think there's going to be a lot of clipping going on. There's a lot of stuff we talked about tonight. It was fun. Probably clip the Sandy Parks bit. That was good. I still can't believe it. I'm still floored on that stuff. That's tremendous. So there you go. Hope you all have a great rest of your week and a fantastic weekend. Don't let the bastards get you down is a great piece of advice. Also, go watch some Randy Orton and get back to me. Thanks for coming, everyone. See you soon.